In this video, I'm going to share what is the difference between GlideRecord and GlideAjax in ServiceNow. Okay, so starting with GlideRecord here, GlideRecord is basically a class which is given in ServiceNow, which is used to interact with database table. Okay, ServiceNow database table. Uh, So when we are using this glide record in a script, it helps us to query a database table in ServiceNow. Okay. So for an example, if you have one requirement where you have to fetch incident table in database and you have to get active records. What are the incidents that are active? So using glide record, you can glide on that table, incident table. You can query it. You can write those syntaxes, adding query like active to true. Okay, you can query those data and you can get those details. So in this way, glide record helps. Now the question comes, if we already have glide record, then what was the need for glide ajax? We could use glide record also, right? But let's assume that we are working on client side. Let's say you are on incident form, okay, and when some client activity is happening, when something is happening on UI, let's say one field is changing, okay, that is client side activity, not server side, okay. So here, if we are using uh, let's say glide record, so that is not recommended. That is not a good practice to use glide record in client script. Okay, that's why glide ajax comes into this place, because if we are using glide record, what it will do, it will make the process very slow, because those are like synchronous calls. And by the name of GlideAjax, you can see here it is having Ajax. And Ajax, when we are talking about, it is a synchronous JavaScript and XML. Okay, so it is doing the same thing, but it is doing it asynchronously in the backend. Okay, so the user will not be seeing the slowness or the slow in process. Okay, it will process normally, and it is happening asynchronously at the backend. And if what GlideAjax does, so in client scripts, we can directly mention the syntax as GlideAjax syntax, and we can call script include, because script include is a server side script. Okay, so we can call that, and in a script include, we can write our server side scripts. Okay, we can use glide record in script include and do whatever we have the requirement. So for better understanding, we can take two examples. Okay, so for glide record, we are going to query the incident table in database. Okay, and we want to see how many incidents are available which are active. Okay, that we will see. So I will show you that example. And then for glide ajax, the example we will take is whenever on incident form the caller field is changing. Okay, one pop-up should come and it should show that the new caller email ID is this. Okay, so how we will achieve this, that we will see now. So first, taking the example of glide record. Okay, so you all can see the script here. This is the script that we are going to use for the first requirement that we have using glide record. Okay, so what I am doing here, I am using, this is the syntax for that. Okay, when we want to glide any table in database, so this is the syntax. We have to define one variable, okay, and then we have to give new glide record and then the table name. After we have stored it in a variable, then in that variable we are going to add query. Okay, so what we are doing, it's like we have reached. So in the first line you can see we are gliding the incident table. Okay, so it's like we have reached to the incident table. Now what? Because on incident table you will see millions of records. Now what we will do? So we will narrow it down. So now we will add query. Okay, so we will add that query is active true. Okay, so now what it will do, it will narrow the query. So we have millions of records available in incident table. Now we are narrowing it down for the records which are active. So let's say now it comes to 10,000 or whatever, we can say 5,000, 2,000. It is now less. Okay, now we can add more query also. Let's say we want to add the state value is new or the state is closed. So it is like narrowing it more down. Okay, and we can add multiple queries. When you are done with all the queries, then you have to mention inc. So inc is the variable name here. So you have to mention the variable dot query. Okay, so now you are querying that database table with your queries. Okay, so we have queried the table. Now what is the requirement? So as per the current requirement, we want to show the numbers of those incident numbers. How many active incidents are there? So I'm using here while loop. Okay, while variable dot next. Okay, so let's assume we got 10,000 or 5,000 records. Okay, so we will use while loop, we will traverse through it and we will print that number here. So we are using gs.print. Okay, as I'm using this background script because it will show in the real time how you are getting everything, okay, in the same view. So when we want to print something, we in the background script we can use gs.print. So this was the code. Now we have to run the script. Here are the list. So these many incident records are active in the incident table. So this is how GlideRecord works. Okay. Now, as I told you, for GlideAjax, we are going to incident table. So how we can go to incident table? We can type incident dot in capital. We can write list. Okay. What it does, it will open in new tab. So just enter and it will be opened in the new tab. So now what is our requirement is when we are on form, okay, when we are on incident form, whenever we are changing this caller's value, one pop-up should come that the caller's email ID, new caller's email ID is this. Okay, so how we can achieve it? So we are using client script and script include because this is happening on the client side. Okay, this is we're working on the browser side, not on server. So we will use client side. So what we are doing, we are using on change client script, which will work when the caller field is changing. So if you are not familiar with client script or script include or different scripting, whatever we have in ServiceNow, I have some other videos and I will be creating new videos on that. You can take reference from that. So right now I'm just going with the overview of this client script. So what we have done, we whenever the value is changing, the caller value is changing, we are storing it in a caller variable, and now we are using GlideAjax to call script include. So in GlideRecord we see we are calling table, right? We we have to give incident, like we have given incident, but in client script we have to give a script include name that we have created here. You can see this is the script include that we have created. Now we will, as in GlideRecord we had that add query, so we here we have to add param. It is like adding parameter. So the first line will be always calling the function you want to call from that script include. So in this script include, we have created this function get email. Okay. So first line after writing this syntax, after initiating this glide ajax call, we have to mention the function name of that script include. After that, we can again give multiple parameters that we want to pass from client script to script include. Okay, so right now what we want to pass is just the caller value, nothing else. Okay, so because we want to check from the caller's record what is his email ID. So the caller's record that user is there, so that table is different. It is sys underscore user. Okay, that is not available from client side. So we need to glide record on that table with the caller's value, and we will fetch the email ID. Okay, so this we have mentioned. Now we will call get XML answer. So what happens here? So what we are doing is when everything when we are calling GlideAjax, we have provided the parameters. After that, we are getting that XML. Okay, so what happens? This script include returns the value, but it will be in a XML format. Okay, so we are calling that get XML answer. Now, this is also a topic to discuss. Get XML answer, get XML, then we have get XML wait. So why we are using get XML answer? I will be creating a video on this also. What is the difference and when we have to use it? So right now I'm using get XML answer so that we can directly get the value which is being returned from the script include. Okay, and we are calling the callback function. Okay, in that function we will get the response whatever we have returned from the script include, and that we are storing it in the answer variable, and now that can be used as per your requirement. So our requirement was we have to show uh, whenever caller is changing, we have to show the email ID of the selected caller is this. Okay, so what is happening after we have written everything here in client script? What happens in script include is we have created this function. Okay, now as you can see from client script, we are passing this value caller. Now how we will get here in script include? So we will use this dot get parameter. Okay, this dot get parameter, and this is the parameter name that we have passed from client script. You can see, you can match it. Okay, caller underscore sys underscore id we have used, and we are just getting that parameter and we are storing it in the caller id. So as it is a reference type field, so when we are getting the value, it will be a sys id. Okay, that we are passing from client script to script include. Now the half part is done. We are good. We are in the script include. So the half part is done. Now we are in the script include, and here the we have the caller sys id. Now we have to just use glide record. We will go to sys underscore user table. Now we will add query that sys id is this caller id, and we will query it. And if there is one caller available with that sys id, then return caller.email. Okay, so we are just returning the email ID of that caller. Okay, so that is present in this response. Now it is stored in answer, and then we are showing the alert. Now let's see how is it working. Okay, so right now you can see it is David Miller. I am going to change it to Beth Angeline. You can see now as I have selected Beth Angeline and we will move, you can see the email ID of the selected caller is bethangeline@example.com. So this is working fine. Okay. So this was the difference and how to use GlideRecord and GlideAjax. Now, if we want to understand the total script, how we are writing and different requirements, so I will uh, create one video on that. Just let me know if you have any requirement so we can work on that, or I will create some sample requirements and I will show how GlideRecord and GlideAjax can be more complex and how to use it. Okay, so that was all. Thank you.